Steve Erceg was robbed. This is not a controversial take. There should be no counter-argument for this take. If you have read the scoring criteria of MMA, you know that Steve Erceg was robbed against Alexandre Pantoja in the main event of UFC 301. I'll go above and beyond. This was the worst title fight decision since John Jones versus Dominic Reyes. So I would say, in reasonably recent UFC history, this is the worst title fight robbery. I would really strongly say that. Steve Erceg clearly won this fight. Was it a close and competitive fight? Yes, it was. However, clear winners can be called from competitive fights. It happens all the time. Most fights are competitive when you get to the top of the sport. I cannot believe they have robbed Erceg of his win. I cannot believe Erceg thinks he lost. I cannot believe that Erceg's coaches said he was up 3-0 apparently. That's dumb. Erceg won this fight very clearly. At no moment in this fight did Alexandre Pantoja commit damage to Steve Erceg. At not a single moment in this entire fight, for 25 minutes, did Alexandre Pantoja do anything to Steve Erceg that made him worry, that made him hurt, or in any other way like that. Steve Erceg clearly won this fight. He won this fight based on rounds 2, 4, and 5. Clear. No way in hell you can give Pantoja any of rounds 2, 4, and 5. Round 2 was competitive, I understand. Round 3, a lot of people gave to Erceg because he sliced open Pantoja with an elbow. They won't give him round 5 for doing that though. They're dumb. He sliced open Pantoja with an elbow in round 3 and cracked him with a big left hook. Other than that, Pantoja held on to him and did basically fuck all, holding on to him, trying to drag him down, sitting down. And remember, this is control time. This isn't mount time for Pantoja. At the end of round 5, he had a moment of mount where he did nothing with it at all. This isn't mounted time for Pantoja. A lot of the control time we were seeing here was a weak half guard, or Erceg sat on him while he has got his hands around Erceg's waist, trying to drag him into a back take that wasn't working for him all fight long, because Erceg is great at defending those positions. I picked Steve Erceg to win this fight by late rounds TKO or a decision based on picking up momentum in the later rounds. That is exactly what happened in this fight. I said that Pantoja has no way of inflicting damage on Erceg. He won't be able to do it on the feet, and he won't be able to do it on the ground. Now, as someone who has read the scoring criteria of MMA very clearly, I understand that damage comes before everything. Everything in the scoring criteria. And I also understand that damage that causes an immediate impact to a fighter is settling rounds. That's what that does. When Gaethje landed a left hook on Fiziev and it swole his eye up, they gave him that round despite him being hit with arguably the better shots. Damage-based scoring is the era that we are in, and judges are the only people ignoring it. They're the only people ignoring it. No, they're not. Chael's ignoring it. DC ignores it. Dominic Cruz ignores it. They all completely ignore grappling being no longer a factor if someone has caused immediate effect damage on the opponent. You do not get points for control time. Control time separates a razor close round. Erceg on the feet was in full control every minute he was on the feet. In round 1, Pantoja had moments, and he looked good in round 1. Had moments at the end of round 1 where he was beating up Erceg on the ground, or not beating him up, but landing good shots as Erceg got back up to his feet. And he landed some good low kicks in round 1. I gave round 1 to Pantoja. Beyond round 1, Pantoja never had a moment of having Erceg in trouble, was completely outclassed on the feet, continued to walk into left hooks that I have no idea how he took. A judge gave this fight 4 rounds to 1 Pantoja. David Torelli scored this fight 4-1 Pantoja. Not a single judge gave this fight to Steve Erceg. This is a rigged scorecard. Brazil is a rigged part of the world for combat sports. Never go back. The crowd doesn't deserve it anyway. It's a dump. No one shows up anyway. None of them cheer whatsoever. There's no atmosphere. There's no aura. There's no nothing. They sound like the Apex. Worse than the Apex. I swear to God, I've heard more energy in the Apex. Don't go back. I'm going to go through it on the card if you want to know that this was a rigged scorecard and was rigged from the fucking get-go here against Steve Erceg. Dione Barboza should have lost to Ernesta Caracate. She won. I watched back the fight. I think she should have lost that fight, arguably. I picked her to win that fight, and I think she should have lost. She got the win. Okay, just one bad decision that benefited a Brazilian. We'll move on. Mike Tykbeck Oralbly got one of the most bullshit point deductions I've ever seen in my fucking life. So much so that the Brazilian commission didn't even separate and pause the action. They just tallied it up. A point deducted from Oralbly in his fight against Elves Brenner. Bullshit point deduction. He grabbed the cage for a second. It didn't even stop a takedown. Lucinda Kovalkiewicz, whatever. Brito Jack Shaw. Jack Shaw is fine. His leg is bleeding. He's cracked his shin. He's walking fine. He's defending himself. And he's striking at range. And he's working in the clinch, stuffing takedowns. The referee sees blood on his shin, steps in and calls off the fight. We've never seen that before, ever in MMA history. But today, they got Joe Anderson Brito his win. He probably would have won anyway. There was no reason to step in and stop that Jack Shaw fight. I'll stand by that. We have seen fighters walk with limp arms, and they're allowed to continue fights. Sean O'Malley couldn't stand on one fucking leg against Andre Sukumtar. No one stepped in to stop that fight. They step in for this one, though. Another bullshit situation. We move on to another moment here. Mikel Pereira backflipped and hit Pateria in the face with his shin when he did the backflip. I don't care if it caught a bit of shoulder first. It landed on the guy's jaw while he's on bottom position. Right across his jaw. You can slow it down and see the impact. If Oliveira's upkick was illegal on Arman, so was that. They watched it back. They saw it was illegal. The whole commentary knew it was illegal. And they still gave the win to Mikel Pereira. I'm A-okay with that. He would have won anyway. That had no impact on the fight. But that should have been called a no contest. Pantoja Erceg. Pantoja, the best shots he landed in this fight were groin shots. Erceg grabbed the cage once in this fight and stopped the takedown. Fair play. Pantoja, no joke, hit this man in the groin 7 or 8 times throughout the fight. Never got a warning, never got a point deducted, never got a speaking to by the ref, and was allowed to do it non-stop. Non-stop in this fight, and he still got his ass whooped. Steve Erceg won this fight. If you want to talk about round 5, Erceg was outlanded by Pantoja, allegedly. Don't know where they're getting those fucking numbers from. I thought Erceg was up on strikes. We'll probably get a recount that shows that. Regardless, I'm going to argue this. Round 1 is Pantoja. Clear. Clear Pantoja round, no denying it. Round 2 is clear Erceg. Landed the better shots, did more damage, and wasn't controlled as much as he was in round 1. I don't even think he was controlled in round 2. I'm pretty sure Pantoja failed the takedowns in round 2. Everyone had it 1-1 going into the third. The third round is the swing round. That's where it can go either way. Maybe Pantoja, maybe Erceg. Pantoja did well. He probably landed more shots. He was busier. He was working for takedowns. He was holding Erceg against the cage. That's all he's good at. But Erceg sliced him the fuck open with an elbow in that round and cracked him with a clean left hook afterwards. That definitely got Pantoja's attention. So much so that for the rest of the third round after that elbow landed, Pantoja was literally holding on to Erceg whilst plugging his forehead with his hand like that. Like, oh my God, that cuts really bad. That hurts. Grabbing onto his forehead for the rest of that round. You want to give that round to Pantoja because he held on and landed a few more body shots that did nothing? Go ahead. I'm giving you rounds that arguably shouldn't win on criteria. Round 3, Pantoja. Sure, 2-1 Pantoja. Round 4, clear Erceg. No denying that. No one's denying that. Somehow a judge gave round 2 or 4 to Pantoja. No idea how. But they did. Round 4, Pantoja was outworked. He did not get what he wanted on the ground. Steve Erceg beat him on the feet, landing the better shots. The left hook was there all night long for him. The uppercut was there as well. And he kept catching Pantoja with these left hooks. And I was wondering how Pantoja was taking him. Great chin from Pantoja. I'm not trashing him. The judges straight up robbed Erceg. Worst robbery since Jones-Reyes in a title fight in UFC recent history. Round 5 is, I guess, what it comes down to. 2-2 going into the 5th. What the fuck did Pantoja do in that round? Swinging body shots that barely landed. Some of them did. Some of them hit the arms. Okay. Erceg landed clean liver hooks. Duck down, liver shot. Pepper in at Pantoja with the jab. Also in that round. Landing good straight rights. Counter right hands. Pull right hand counter he landed in that round as well. He got the takedown in round 5. Both of them were initiated by him. One of them was reversed, and Pantoja ended up on top at the end of the 5th. Erceg got back up in the 3rd after a scramble, and then proceeded to slice Pantoja open with a nasty elbow that sliced him above his eye. That's 2 cuts now on Pantoja. Slice on the forehead from round 3, slice over the eye from round 5. It's a nasty cut, immediately gushing blood. He then goes on to continue to outpoint Pantoja on the feet. He then shoots a takedown, gets it for a second, gets reversed, keeps scrambling with Pantoja, gives up dominant position at the end of the round. Pantoja does fuck all to damage him from that position, but hold on. Lands a couple shots here and there, nothing major, no big, massive elbows, no nothing. Does fucking nothing! But hold on! That does not win you fights anymore. Anyone who picked Pantoja going into this fight is dumb. Erceg is better than him. We knew that. The tape proved that. Picking Pantoja means you're not looking at tape and who you think win. Picking Pantoja means, oh, well, there's been a bunch of underdogs. There won't be another one. We'll go Pantoja. This was the genius pick of the year of Steve Erceg. And a lot of people had it. And I know a lot of people had money on it as well. And he was a big underdog. And what do you know? They fucking robbed him. Fucking brutally robbed Steve Erceg so badly, and the commentary is waffling about how that round 5 takedown might have lost it for Erceg. It doesn't mean anything when he is sliced open Pantoja on the feet with an elbow and been out striking him for the entirety of that round. Steve Erceg fought for 25 minutes against Alexandre Pantoja. Not a fucking moment of worry. Never a moment where you're like, oh, that was a good shot from Pantoja. Never a moment where you were like, watch out, in a grappling sequence. None of it. Safe, composed, scrambles, back up to his feet after time, be impatient on bottom, waiting for his moment to find his way back up to his feet. Complete control on the feet. Pantoja was swinging like an idiot. Terrible, awful, no skill, just a good chin and strong and can somehow push that pace for 5 while failing 10 fucking takedowns. Erceg won the fucking fight. I don't give a fuck what anyone else says. That was brutal, and 4-1 Pantoja is a rigged, pre-written scorecard. I didn't realize we were playing that game. I literally called this fight. I know that Bedtime MMA is upset about this. Of course, he lost. He got robbed. No, but seriously, I know he picked him as well, but he probably picked him as a meme. I knew Erceg was better. I knew Erceg was the best flyweight on earth, and tonight he fucking proved that he was. The best flyweight on earth, clearly, just even without experience, he did that to Pantoja. Without big fight feel experience. Dude's been fighting in the fucking apex. He's yet to see a crowd, but maybe one of his fights. Let's look. He fought on pay-per-views, but he's never been on high up on the prelims. He's never been on a main card. Against Schnell, he was on the main card, but it was in the fucking Apex. He's never had a big fight feel. And he still stepped up on a quick turnaround after his fight against Matt Schnell, right back into a training camp, and beat Pantoja easily. Won that fight. Don't feel ashamed of yourself, Steve Erceg. You got fucking robbed. The judges pick and fucking choose when they want to count takedowns. Pick and fucking choose. If Adesanya had Erceg's performance and Marvin Vettori had Pantoja's performance, the fight is going to Adesanya 10 out of 10 times. 10 out of fucking 10 times. It will go to Adesanya. If John Jones had Erceg's performance and Pantoja had DC's performance, the fight is going to John Jones 10 out of 10 times. I pick fights based on damage-based scoring, and they're fucking ignoring it over and over again. That was my take. Pantoja will have no way of catching Erceg on the feet. He'll have no way of damaging him on the feet. And he'll have no way of establishing dominant enough position to establish any kind of damage on the ground. Therefore, Erceg will win, because he will cause damage, he will find his moments, and he will work his way back up to his feet from on bottom position. He did exactly what I said he would, and they still fucking took it from him. He pushed forward the whole time. He was always the guy pressuring, and if he wasn't, it was because Pantoja was swinging like that against him, and then Erceg would back up, catch him with a left hook and a straight right. I know people are going after him because if I say it, it's bad. This was a bad robbery. I was correct. This was a casual test of a pick. Real ones picked Erceg, and real ones know that Erceg won. He clearly won the fight. Very clearly won the fight. And Chael had it 5-0 to fucking Pantoja. I'm making a video about him. Wrestlers cannot handle that their gay little sport is being just shifted out. I meant it as a compliment. Goodbye. I can't believe it. Ruined an event. Great event overall. Just ruined it. See ya.